How is it going, everybody? This is Bailey Clark from the Explicit Outdoors podcast. It's been a little bit. I've never said I was going to try. I was going to try. That was the initial response or initial talked about thing was that I was going to try to get one out once a week, every week on like a Wednesday, somewhere in there. But life throws curveballs at you, and you're busy, and I'm working constantly. It seems like, and on top of work, I work and everything along the lines like that, and just ain't working out. But finally, I'm getting Connor on here in a little bit, and we're gonna discuss some things and visit just bullshit, some hunting. And I gotta get comfortable here. This chair is killing me. Doing doing. But yeah, I'm gonna do a phone call out. I'm gonna have to turn my AC thingy, my bobber off. I think I can hear it. Yeah, I gotta shut that off. Oh yeah, that's better. Well, anyways, yeah. So it's been a couple weeks. And it's been a busy couple weeks, and even weekends. I wanted to try to get some people out and do some on the weekends when people were free. They weren't working, and it just hasn't worked out quite yet. So tonight we're gonna extend on the whole learning as we go sort of deal. I'm gonna call Connor here once I do the introduction, and we'll go from there on that. But yeah, the last couple weeks have been busy. Spent, 2 weeks ago? We did our annual seafood weekend, and Connor had his 3D archery shoot. We're going to talk about that. And in the meantime, I've gotten some cameras out. Got the food plots done. Had a few good rains. Everything's looking up. Everything's looking good. And so far, so good. From what's showing up on camera, I got 2 bucks that came back, a couple little doodlers running around that don't look half bad for, probably let them go. Be cool. Obviously the younger bucks are the more consistent bucks, and I probably end up seeing 1 or 2 of them while hunting with the kids or whatever. But this year, it's not going to be like last year. We're going to watch and just let them go, let them grow. It's going to be a little different, though, with New York's updated rules and the whole earn a buck thing, but it's a learning process. Can't really complain. I mean, I wasn't necessarily against it, but I don't like the way it's brought about. It's not the way I would have done it specifically, but it is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, but this last weekend, me and my wife, Kenzie, who you've heard on an earlier podcast, went away, and then me and Connor probably end up talking about this again, but went and stayed in New Hampshire, in Bath, New Hampshire, and rode around looking for moose. And when I say rode around, we spent more time in the car on a vacation than we did outside of the car enjoying things and doing things. And we did go, one of my favorite spots we stopped was when we got across, we stopped at Johnson's Wool Mill and got myself a nice Johnson's, medium. It's a medium weight coat. I've got a nice stagger coat. I'm stuck between buying some of the stagger pants, the wool milled pants, or some of Johnson's pants. But as right now, I'm just up in the air. At least I got to try some on at Johnson's, and I definitely, even the lady was like, they run small, so don't be humbled when you go to pick your pant size and it doesn't fit. And good Lord, did they not fit. I had to go up about 4 pant sizes, which should be a little ambition to lose some of the gut before hunting season. So I got to wait for the size to come into stock. They're going to have to hem them. And then after they hem them, I just do this all over the phone. They were great talking about it and what to do while we were there. Kenzie had to drag me out their back gun room. They had a couple Model 760 Game Masters sitting back in there, and that's the last Remington rifle I want to buy, the pump action. I want a nice 760 Game Master. Be it, and I would prefer like a goofy caliber, like a 30-06, or not 30-06, yeah, the most produced one. I'm thinking like a 300 Savage, 35, something goofy, just because that's how I am. I want old guns. I want them to be unique. Problem is, I've got 2 of them, a 308 7600 and a 30-06 Model 76. But I just like the looks of those old carbine Model 760 Game Masters, and I don't want to keep getting the same caliber over and over again, but it is what it is. If I stumble into the right deal, then my wife will probably be really happy that I stumbled into the right deal, and it'll cost me money, and I'll have to just pull the trigger. But I already spent enough on coats and whatnot, and I had to leave that back room with a tear dribbling down my cheek, and just had to wave goodbye and hurry up and get out. Kenzie had to grab my arm twice. I tried to turn around and go back into the store, but she wouldn't let me. Maybe in the future, maybe I can convince her to go back over to Vermont, and I can get my pants, and maybe I'll walk out with a new Peep Sight 760 Game Master in my hands. But yeah, so the main purpose of the whole entire trip was to try and see a moose. Kenzie's never seen one. I've gone 28 years of my life and finally seen the first one. And to top it off, I seen 3 earlier this year. I'll put the clip in right here. Of those, I'm pretty spoiled. I see a cow with 2 calves. And we stayed in New Hampshire thinking, yep, we'll go up, we'll hit Moose Alley. Like, everyone's like, you got to go down Moose Alley if you want to see a moose in New Hampshire. Well, we seen the moose in Vermont. Didn't see anything on Moose Alley, but it was still really cool. See a nice cow. Couldn't get any pictures of it. It ran across the road, down someone's driveway, and we only caught it there the last couple seconds while it was sneaking off down back into the thick stuff. So, without further ado, I am going to shoot Connor a message, and we'll get back to you guys in just a couple seconds. So, welcome to the Explicit Outdoors Podcast, and hope you guys enjoy.
Run, Dex, baby. Fucking drilled him. Give me knuckles.
I feel like I could puke.
Boomity boom!
All right, now we're recording. What's going on, brother?
Let's go. Let's get explicit.
Let's do it. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Of course, you called me, and one time I stopped in for a quick beverage at my friend Steve's, and I was like, oh man, Steve, I gotta go, man. It's time to get explicit.
Fucking A. So anyone that doesn't know, this is Connor Rowell from Rowell Outdoors. Met him a while ago on Facebook. Bullshitted, and it was like one of those times. Like, I don't have to meet this guy in person to know he's gonna be fucking perfect, funny, goofy bastard that I'll just get along with. And ever since then, the bullshitting on Facebook, the goofy YouTube videos and shit like that, I'm like, it's what Explicit Outdoors needs as a partner, as a buddy. And it's ironic. I literally talking to my father earlier today. He's like, oh, you're not getting any out. I said, well, I'm working on it. I said, it's funny. I said, you know the guy I'm about to do one with tonight. And he's like, who's that? And I said, you took a picture of him here a couple years ago on Lake Bonaparte. He's like, what in the hell are you talking about? I said, you don't remember the guy that held up the big lake trout? He said, that's who you're doing. I said, yeah, that's Connor. I said, he's going to be on tonight.
Yep, that was me.
Yeah. I said, no, funny enough, it was.
I'm headed to Bonaparte. I'm headed to Bonaparte this weekend, actually.
There you go. We'll be in Tupper Friday, Saturday. Maybe I'll see you Sunday. Maybe we'll swing out in Bonaparte Sunday.
Yeah, that's right.
Doing some fishing or just bullshitting?
Bringing the kids up. We're staying out on Round Island over at the Births camp.
Yeah.
So I'm going up with the family, and my buddy and his wife and kids are going up with their family, and just going to take a couple nice days in the foothills of the Adirondacks and relax.
There you go. Ain't nothing better than relaxing, especially on Bonaparte. Get pretty rowdy every now and then with a random helicopter or float plane, but not too bad otherwise.
Yeah, I got to fight off the loons every once in a while.
There's plenty of those friggin' things.
Yeah, you ever eat them?
Oh, they're delicious.
Yeah, they taste just like blue heron.
They decoy pretty well.
Oh, wicked.
Wicked. So I talked a little bit last week because you couldn't get on. You were busy doing your event. How'd that go? How'd everything go?
Oh my gosh, the World Classic was awesome. It was awesome. We had pretty inclement weather on Saturday, which kind of worried me. I'm like, oh man, I like to shoot for like 140 shooters for the weekend. And I'm like, oh man, this rain, I think we had like I think 40 some shooters the
Oh,
first
no
day.
kidding.
Yeah, so we had like 40 shooters the first day, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And Sunday, the weather was great, so I'm like, well, buckle up. People are going to be piling in here, and they did. We had some great shooters from all over the state. A lot of guys from far parts of the Adirondacks. Huge crew from Pennsylvania. It just what a time! It just we always camp out Friday night, and we had people there Saturday night. Had live music. We had a steak bake. There was shoot. I bet you 70% of the people there didn't even shoot archery. They were just there to be part of like a hunting camp kind of community,
Just the
like telling
atmosphere of it.
telling stories, eating steak, drinking booze. Like, we had what did we have? A couple fifth wheel campers. Orabice always brings his camper, a bunch of tents. It was just awesome.
That's awesome, dude. So where's this located at?
So right outside of Sandy Creek, technically, I think it's inside the Boylston limits, but just off 81 by like 8 minutes in Lacona, right at the Mad River clubhouse. And so it's pretty centralized, really, if you think about it. I mean,
Oh yeah.
between your two major cities for our area, right? Like Watertown and
Yep.
Syracuse. You're
Yeah,
right in the
and like
middle.
you were saying, it didn't matter anyways. You had people coming up from, you had enough traction that you were bringing people up from Pennsylvania and beyond Watertown, being up here at Adirondacks. You were drawing
Yeah,
people
it's
in
awesome.
regardless from a distance. And it was advertised enough that I didn't follow the page and it popped up, even though I'm your friend on Facebook. I seen it before it even popped up that you had shared it. Whereas even some of the local ones, like, cause I know Tupper Lake puts one on,
Yep,
every now and then. What is it up here? Bear Pack puts one on, and I like it's always like I
yep.
see it 3 days before it happens, and it's like I can't plan that out. I forgot it ever happens year in year out. And I've never actually even been to a 3D shoot. I was hoping when you invited me to this one, I was like doing the math in my head, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So
Right.
we do the complete opposite, but sort of the same thing. We do a band Friday night, and then Saturday, everyone stops in, swings by, and we got a crew of people from our camp in Tupper Lake that come down every year. And he's actually, I found out this week or that weekend, he's actually related to people in Louisiana. He had like it down to a friggin' system. He's like putting everything in at the right times, the right, like to cool it down. You put you watch the videos on Facebook, the stale cracker, and then
Oh yeah.
he's doing it like, and he's telling you how to do it. And I'm like, I just throw everything all in at once. And when things are floating and things look good, I start eating it.
Right.
And so that was we do the seafood weekend, but you invited me there, I don't know, a handful of days before, and I was doing the math, and I was like, shit, I ain't going to be able to make it. But I hopped on real fast to try and get some traction there and throw a podcast out advertising a little bit for you.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. No, I appreciate that. And like, well, at least you ate good. We ate good too. So
Oh, hell
John
yeah.
Macklin, John's a really good friend of mine, club member. We're in the fire department together. He's one of the assistant chiefs, like just a genuine, just great dude. Well, he's a hell of a cook. Don't get me wrong, but his wife, oh my gosh, she can cook.
Knocked it out
And
of the park.
oh my gosh, the fixin' she made to go with this steak. It was $25 for a giant ribeye and basically as much as you could eat for fixins.
No kidding.
And that was just our cost. And so John was the grill master. We had a big, stainless steel like water trough for
Yep.
animals, and just I mean steaks laid out on that thing. Oh my gosh, it
That's
was
awesome.
it was great. Just because this shoot, yeah, there's quite a bit of money involved, but it doesn't even feel like a competition. Like at no point does it feel like a competition because it's just friends coming from all over, and then every year you make a pile of new friends. That's a cool thing about 3D archery is you show up to these like if you went to the Mad River Club or Bear Pack, you'd show up, you go to the registration and be like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I've never done this,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, oh my gosh, man. well, oh, thanks for coming out. And they would pull a club member or one of their friends is shooting and be like, oh, hey, this is so and so. Go shoot with him. He'll show you the range. I guarantee you, after you shoot 30 targets, you've just made a best friend.
Yeah, that's
Like
awesome.
I've
And
in on the
I think that might be the biggest hindrance for a lot of people. And I know it kind of was for me even when I started archery. I did not grow up in an archery shooting family. I can
right.
remember my father took his bow course. He was probably in his 30s even before he took it, and he took it at Ferrari's Archery in Carthage. And
Yep.
that's been Christ Almighty, that's been closed down. He moved away, closed down. I was 10 or 11. I had new strings put on a bow, and then he was gone that next year.
Yep.
So it's been over 20 years for me. Or did I say 20 years? 15-ish years or whatever, where I started, and no one really taught me what to do. I can remember growing up, the bows we had were, I'm pretty sure, something my father got out of the garbage. And my gym teacher at the time was an archery hunter, and he actually put me on after school weightlifting, different ways to get the muscles built up, because I was a little dude when I was in middle school, even high school, to get the muscles built up to where they're the muscles that pull back the bow. And I can remember shooting bows with buddies or whatever, and I would just, if I was hitting low, I'd raise my bow up a little higher. And this is a compound bow with a 3-pin
Yep.
sight. I just didn't know what the hell I was doing up until literally I was 14 or 15, and one of my good buddies from Tupper Lake ended up moving in with us, and he was a pretty big archery hunter. They go downstate, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "You ever sight that thing in?" So I don't know how to sight a bow in. He said, "You've been hunting?" I said, "I wouldn't shoot anything over 15 yards." And so, just being nervous to, not a lot of people to talk to, that's not a big thing up here, archery hunting, not until the last few years. And then once you do it, you finally start realizing, like, oh, there are more people that do it. It's just
Right.
not a broadcasted thing. Whereas, and I think that's what a lot of people would be nervous about, is showing up and being the odd guy out. But like you just said, I think you just show up and tell them, like, listen, this is my first time. And like you said, people would jump up and down with joy to be like, I can take this guy under my wing and we can just,
They love it. I mean, I love it. There was a guy, he was actually a local guy. He showed up, he's like, I've never shot 3D. And I'm like, I look around and there was a guy who's shot every year since I've been running the World Classic. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna love this guy. Let me introduce you. And they shook hands and they're like, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. They went and hit the course, best friends.
yeah.
I'm like, that I just get so much enjoyment out of that. But there's a couple different kinds of people that come into the archery world. Like you just said, you can have like a large group of archery fanatics around you. So you just kind of you went through the motions and you got good enough that, say 20 yards is your max. Like if a spike horn comes in within 20, like that thing's getting pinned down.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But there's like me, I was fortunate enough that my father shot archery his whole life. But my friend group, my really close friend group, and this is the only reason I even got into archery, which it ended up being, and now it's an obsession. But all my friends shot archery. They all shot 3D and they're wicked good. And I'm like, oh man, maybe I'll get into it. I'm like, oh man, these bows are expensive.
Oh,
Well,
friggin'
my
A, dude.
father, a couple of years ago, when the RX-7 came, the Hoyt RX-7 came out, my father went and bought one brand new. And he had an Expedition, an MX-16. He's like, hey, I'll sell this to you, cheap. You start bow hunting. I'm like, screw it. So I grabbed it and I'm like, yep, okay, how much do you want? Paid him the pennies he charged me. I bet you I didn't pay more than $400 for this whole setup.
No kidding.
And the only reason he wanted that money is so he could go spend it on the bow that he was buying and
Oh,
buy
yeah,
more
that's the
cool
hardest
shit
part.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sell,
And
sell and
so
buy.
yeah. So I got in the group chat and I'm like, well, guys, looks like I'm trying this out. And my buddies all got together and I'm blessed with the guys in my friend group like John Crast, Jared Crast, Tommy Haynes. Like these are some of like the top shooters in the area.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so it was like basically training for like a triathlon, except there was no training. And it's like, hey man, you're going to hit the ground running as fast as you can. And I was fortunate, I went through the motions for several months and I just got it. It,
Oh, and
it
it's
made sense to me. And I'm like, man, I guess I'm not bad at this. So and I started shooting 3D and winning a bunch. And it's awesome. But like this year, we had, so this is perfect case in point. And this is what I tell everybody when they come to the World Classic. They're like, well, do I shoot in the trophy class? I'm like, well, you can. If you win the trophy class, you get a nice hardwood plaque done by Wheat Hill Construction and 5 Alarm Design. They donate these beautiful plaques. I'm like, or you can spend $10 more and get in the money class. Like, well, I'm not good enough to be in the money class. I'm like, this isn't quite about being good
yeah.
enough.
This isn't the competition shoot at the state fairgrounds when they
Right.
do. This is good old boys getting together and just seeing who can have a better
Yeah.
time.
And it's anybody's game.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
2025 World Classic, case in point, Tommy Haynes' fiance, Jackie. So she was like, she just picked up a bow, like, oh, she'll probably kill me if I get this wrong, but it was like a month or so before the World Classic. She started shooting and she was good. She was good. She got the fundamentals. Obviously, she's gonna with Tommy teaching her, being, on a strict regimen. This is how you're gonna shoot. This is how you do this. She shows up. She qualifies for finals for women's hunter. She goes out. We go to day 2. She gets called back for the finals. She shoots in the finals and she wins the World Classic.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's some women shooters in central New York and northern New York that are wicked. And she went in there and she won the thing.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, that it's anybody's game. This year, another Cinderella story. So Seth Jones, local kid, known him forever, grown up with the family. They're awesome. He has a really nice Matthews. It's all set up, and he goes, dude, I've never shot 3D. And he just got into the Mad River Club. I'm like, Seth, get here, man. We'll get you paired up with somebody. And I told myself running the event, I'm like, I'm not going to shoot this year. It's too much. It's too stressful. And then Saturday morning, I might have had the booze flu a little bit.
Oh
And
boy.
I'm like, wow. So I said, well, I have to get my oldest son, I have to get Fred's bow out of the shed. So I ran home and I'm looking at that big Elite sitting there and I'm going, oh, man, all right.
Just whispering to you.
Yeah. I was like, I got to bring it. I'll put it in the truck. I'll bring it. And if I shoot, even on the practice range, at least I'm shooting with my buddies. I'm having a good time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then it downpours. Attendance is down. I look at Seth and I go, I'll be right back. Next thing you know, I got my Kafaru quiver on. I grab the bow and I come strutting across. Everyone's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just warming up. Just warming up. So I get on the 30-yard bag and don't I split that dime size X. I split it right in half and I'm like, maybe it's one of those days.
Better go shoot the course. No
Yeah.
warm up needed.
Yeah. So I look at Seth and I'm like, all right, man, let's do this. Let's go just bear through the rain, laugh and have a good time. And this is the first time I'd ever shot with Seth, ever. And I'm like, we're going through and like I'm going through the motions and I'm like, this kid can like really shoot. And I've told him all this. This is no surprise to him. I'm like, of course I didn't tell him that after we were done. I'm like, your form is awful. How you draw is awful. Like just terrible. But his bow setup was great. And he just has that niche to him. And sure enough, we get done with day 1. I'm tailing everything up and I walk out and I shake his hand and I go, Seth Jones, congratulations. You've been selected as a top 5 shooter. We'll see you tomorrow at finals for the Mad River World Classic. And he's like, holy shit, I don't belong here.
No kidding.
But I was like, yeah, man, it'll be a good time. Fast forward next day, we have quite a few familiar faces, and he was shooting in the men's hunter. We had quite a few familiar faces, some new ones, just some banger shooters. I mean, just some dialed guys. But this is a Mad River World Classic. It's a Catalina wine mixer, man. You never know what's going to happen out on this finals field. Like, I mean, it's like going into a championship game, and if you get rattled, you suck.
Yep.
It just happens. You
Feeling
just
the
suck.
pressure a little bit.
Wicked. And it's not even like there's any pressure out there, but you get in your own head and it's like, oh fuck, there's some pressure out here.
It's like kindergarten
So
fields days.
yeah. So I shot in the trophy class, which I'm very thankful that I won the men's trophy class for the hunter class. So that was awesome.
There you go.
So because I couldn't shoot in the finals because I'm one of the line judges.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's kind of hard to watch everybody and see how everybody's doing. You're walking around, make sure no one has any questions, on like arrows that are on the line. And we get done. My fiance was a freaking rock star with this. Her and my sister with the paperwork for this event.
Oh, there
Like,
you go.
shout out to Nicole and shout out to my sister Lindsay. Like, they were just awesome.
Doing the boring part.
Oh, it's boring, but oh my god, these girls were like up to their ears with the paperwork, trying to keep everything in line, and they did awesome.
That's awesome.
So she comes back out after the men's 100 shot. Now the open class is on the line. So she comes out, and I told her, I'm like, don't let anybody in that room. John Shirley, shout out to Big John. John was in charge of running like security at like the office. Like, don't let anybody in and start fingering through these papers to see who won.
Yeah.
So Nicole comes out, and I'm like, who won? She's whispering to me. She's like, Aura Bice. I'm like, nice. Aura's a wicked good friend of all of ours. I'm like, hell yeah, Aura won. Awesome. And I'm like, who came in second? And she starts laughing. And I'm like, who came in second? She goes, Seth Jones.
Oh, no kidding.
I'm like, you gotta be, this is a kid that never shot 3D archery. On Saturday's his first day. Sunday afternoon, he comes in second, the World Classic. I'm like, this is just, it blew my mind. He was so happy, smiling ear to ear. And like, it made the whole event. It was awesome.
Makes that archery addiction just that much worse.
Oh my gosh. And it's because everybody that shoots, we get critiqued a little bit, but I ask these other people that run different shoots like Cortland, Bear Pack, especially Bear Pack, like when they come off the course, like John Carter is a traditional guy. He came off, immediately critiqued me on how I set the traditional pins. And I love that. Like, it's a pill to swallow because you're like, God damn it. I put a lot of time in this course. Now I have someone critiquing me. No, I love it.
Oh yeah.
What
Absolutely.
didn't you like?
To be able to take the criticism and work off of it, and you're going to make your event for someone that can take it. You could step back and say, oh, this son of a bitch, he's out here mad dogging us and giving us shit. But to take that and be able to work off it and go, you know what? He's done this. He's been around. He is critiquing it, but he's giving me the criticism I need to improve my shoot. And by the sounds of it, from just a guy that's sitting on the outside, it's already a fairly large shoot. To improve it and make it better and draw even more people in, this could turn into one of the biggest shoots in the area. And like you said, it's so centralized that, if it was like the Tupper Lake one, you guys got to drive almost 3.5 hours, 4 hours if you were to go shoot that one. Whereas, people coming from all over, that is literally, like you said, it's like almost dead center for people to be traveling and come do this. It is like setting something up right in the middle of a tri-county marker. Everyone's going to meet there at some point, and you've got the perfect location for it, the perfect, like you said, it's a campground. People can come out and stay and party like you had a big meal. And you said, a kid that's never done it that showed up, and like you said, he had terrible form and didn't know what he was doing. Boo. Out of how many people did you say?
So he shot against 10 guys, 10 of the top, or 9 of the top guys.
And he got second.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's just crazy.
And that's just another thing to push that person that's never done it before. And it's like to tell that story and for him to hear that, be like, man, I shoot a lot at home, I make my paces through the 20, 30, 40, and they're shooting block targets and maybe they've got a Glendale or something. And it's like, one, this puts you in more real world scenarios where you're shooting through a little sliver of brush and different things like that. And, I don't know your course 100%. I wasn't there, but, to give them that extra little nudge to go, I'm going to go try this. And like you said, they may make the best you maybe become best friends with some of these guys, and next thing you know, they're traveling to the one in Tupper or the one in Bear Pack and all
Right.
these other
I'm
events.
actually I'm thinking about going to the. I've always wanted to go, but I've always had something going on. You know the mountain challenge that they have out there in Tupper?
Yeah, that's the one I think I'm talking about. I don't know the name of it. I just
Yeah.
know they host
Yep.
one.
Right. Yeah. The mountain challenge. It's at the end of August.
It's a fairly large one, I'm pretty sure.
I'm thinking about going.
It's always my birthday weekend. We're always up at actually, you know what? That's actually pretty crazy. I might be in Tupper that weekend.
Let's do it.
I might be able to swing it. I got to see what's going on. My weekend or my birthday's the 31st, and I think the shoot is the 30th and the 31st. If I can
Is it? Or
swing
is
it,
it?
if everything
I
works,
think
I
it
think
might
it's
be
that
the
weekend.
weekend before. For
Is
some
it the
reason, I
weekend
thought it
before
was
that?
like the 22nd. Oh, we'll have to get together on it. But
Yeah.
dude, if we could shoot that, oh my God, it
Yeah,
would
no,
be
I
a
got a
blast.
camp right there we could stay at, and we're going there this weekend. It's right in the heart of
Man,
Adirondacks. I mean, it's
that would
crazy.
suck. That
Yeah,
would suck.
yeah,
But no, it's a blast. Like what I try to tell people is because bows are expensive, arrows are expensive, everything is freaking expensive. However, you come to this course, this course isn't so hard. You're like, oh man, I have to shoot 30 targets and I'm gonna lose at least 5 arrows. This isn't like total archery challenge.
yeah.
This is all real world, anywhere's from 22 yards to there's a couple like 43s and 45s for your hunter class, but nothing, it's nothing crazy. Like if you're comfortable enough to head out during archery season and get up in a tree stand and decide to draw back and let the spirit of the wild, the mystical flight of the arrow, and touch that off and kill an animal, I'll give you a hint. You are plenty good to go kill foam in the woods
Oh, absolutely.
because foam don't string jump.
Don't string jump. They're not winding you and blowing out on you. They're not doing
Yeah,
any of that. They're
and the
just sitting
drag
still waiting to get hit.
the drag and recovery is super easy. I
Oh, hell
love
yeah.
that. But no, it's a blast. But we actually have it went so well. I just had such a good time with it. We're actually putting on a team shoot,
I
and
seen
that's
that. That's what I
Sun.
was going to coast
Yeah,
into next. I seen that. Shared the status the other day. That looks awesome. And that's another thing. You like not to fall back on it and get ahead of ourselves, but you could the guy that hasn't shot 3D teams up with someone that has and is like now they're more confident going into it. Like, oh,
right,
I got a buddy that's done it before. I've never done it. So now you're creating an event where you can introduce the guy that's never done it with a friend. And like you said, even then, you bring in someone, you're going to these events. Now you've just someone who wasn't, maybe quite ready for it and they dove into it with a friend. You just created, you lit that torch underneath him and he's traveling
right,
for it. And it's like
right.
anything. You get start doing these things in the summer, and I was doing it. I
Yeah,
was this morning. I'll have to send you some pictures after the podcast. This morning was pretty wild. I had me pretty rowdy in the truck. I might have been all over the road a little bit. I had some bucks running around in front of a trail camera that getting me pretty
oh
excited and
yeah,
worked up for season. I'll have to send you the videos once we get off. But
that's
yeah, go
right.
into it. Go
But
into it. Tell
yeah,
me
no,
about that team
this
event.
yeah. So August 16th, it's a Sunday. It's a 1 day shoot. It's a team shoot. Um, and it's shoot what you bring. There's no classes. We're gonna shoot it just like we did with the finals. So we have this beautiful. It's our trap field, and we paint in boxes. All the boxes are connected 1 through 20. The targets will be various ranges out in the field, and it's you score the best arrow. So it's $50 for a team, and I'm making this rule that you have to. Of course, I can make the rules because it's my party. It's
the
my freaking party, and I'll cry if I want to.
the
Like
dictator of the
you,
Mad River
you
Club.
yeah, you have to have them. You have to have a team name. I don't care who you are.
Oh, that's
Get your
awesome.
buddy. You have to have a team name.
That could get rowdy.
Oh, wicked, wicked. So you get your buddy. You sign up. It's $50. There's going to be side pots. There'll be $10 entries for like most X's, so most X's in the center, and then most 14s. So say you're done for the day, you didn't win, but if your team had the most X's or had the most 14s, then you're still leaving with money.
There you go. That's pretty cool.
So, but
And
yeah, it's Sunday, August 16th at the Mad River Club. I think I said registration starts at like 8 o'clock. It's all on the Mad River World Classic Facebook page. Everything's on there. Anybody can shoot me a message on there. I'm the sole owner runner of that. So if someone messages that, you're going to be talking to me. And it's a blast. Like you can get any of your buddies. Like say like you're like, oh man, I never shot 3D before. I don't know. Well, text one of your buddies who shoots and you're like, dude, let's just go down and shoot this. I think this will be fun. This is the perfect entry into 3D archery because it's all in the field. You have a ton of people there that can help you and explain things, and it's a blast. It's a wicked time.
Oh, and it's like you're throwing friendly competition on top of it. Everyone's I mean, you're taking something that could make, someone could be nervous, and you're turning it into a hunting camp style. I mean, you're bullshitting. You're throwing bets at each other, like you said.
Oh yeah.
The other two chances to win are basically a bet, and you're having a good time. You're bullshitting, and you're guaranteed, unless you're a douchebag, you're guaranteed to make friends with these guys because they're fellow hunters. The only
For
person that would
sure.
ever have a problem is someone that showed up that thought they were Chris Brackett and took the event over like they thought they were winning $1 million check. This is something that you shouldn't be nervous to go to. And like you're opening it up as a team. Yeah, grab a buddy that's gone, or maybe grab a buddy that's never gone. You both have been on the hinge, and say, listen, it's a team event. We're going together, so at least you show up and you know someone. Like I would show up, I would know you. But I wouldn't know unless I picked Owen up on the way down through or something. I wouldn't know anybody there, and I'd be nervous. But this one opens up the opportunity to bring someone from your buddy or like my brother or someone up here that shoots bow with me and go down. And it's friendly. It's something to do, like kick around on a Sunday, go and have fun, and go home that night. It's not like it's a 2-day event or something that might be a little nerve wracking to someone at first. This one's a good one to get into, I think, where yeah, it might be nervous for individually, but if you go down with somebody who's never also shot, or they have shot, and they can give you some pointers and tricks, and like anything, you start shooting with people who have done it before. And like you said, you were critiquing that younger fellow there that hadn't shot one before, and he ended up with second place. You go down to an event like that, don't be afraid to talk to someone and say, "How does this look?" Because
Oh yeah, absolutely.
no matter how good you think
Absolutely.
you are or how long you've been shooting, there's always room for improvement and to get better. And some of these events, there are some true shooters to form that can sit there and go, hey, listen, why don't you turn your wrist in just a little bit and bend your, and I didn't know that stuff until I
Yep.
went to the bow shop, and I was even nervous to go to the bigger bow shop. I was lucky enough to have a local opened one, and I didn't know anything about paper tuning. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff until I bought my first. What did I buy off him? PSC. I bought my PSC Evoke off him, my
Oh yeah,
31,
PSC baby.
and he helped me tune it. And literally, I sat in there while paper tuning, and he's like, "You've never shot much." I said, "Well, I've shot a lot." But I've never gone into severe, like big technicalities like this. And I mean, I was there for 2 extra hours. My bow was set up. He was just going through the turn your wrist, roll your arm just a little bit more, these are your,
Right,
get
right.
your anchor points down. And I do shoot a little different than a couple guys, and they critique me, and I'm like, listen, I shoot good. I've killed deer. I shoot target very well. My form is not going to be exact to your form, but there's always room. And I take into what they say. And you got to be able to do that, I think, is not take it like, oh, he's talking down on me. Like, no, take the criticism and work off of it. You can get better. And I think these events open that up to, like you said, you got some amazing friends that have shot with you and taught you how to shoot. And not a lot of people have that. They pick a bow up and they're like, all right, I'm going to shoot. And they're shooting 20 yards and they're getting good. And it's like, Well, I'm watching these guys online shoot. One of my favorite people to watch is Chris B. I grew up watching him. I kind of grew up with him.
Yep.
He was kind of one of my inspirations into filming. I wanted to get more cinematic, and I mean, his is stupid out of the world compared to whatever I've ever done. But I mean, his old videos, he used to mock, or not mock. He used to do. I can remember him way back in the day. They were, Dude Perfect, and he was shooting like
Yeah. Yep.
300 yards with a bow, and I'm like, dude, that'd be cool. I can only shoot 20. Well, no, you can't only shoot 20. Start working on it. When I started shooting
Yeah.
40, 50, 60 yards, when I bought a sight that I could actually dial and get out a little farther, first 2 shots, I lost an arrow. I called my buddy up.
Yep.
I said, hey, you got some hay bales for sale? He's like, you don't have any, you don't have any stock. You don't have any farm animals or anything. I said, no, but I just lost $40 worth of bow arrows. I need to backstop for this
I
target.
need the biggest round bale
Give
you
me
can
like,
give me.
yeah, I need like 3 round bales dropped right here so I can put this little bow target in front of it so I quit losing shit. And I think, like I said, up here, and I'm speaking for myself because this is how it was for me. And I just see it because I don't know a lot of people that bow hunt. And even the ones that used to shoot with me, I mean, they all had, and this isn't anything against it, they all had bottom of the line, hand me down bows that, I mean, I could probably run faster than the arrow when it came out of them. And they were content with shooting 20 yards and 20 yards. And I'm like, man, I want to shoot 40, 50. And I'm not going to shoot at a deer that far. But I can tell you right now, all the people that say when you get good at 40, 50, 60 yards, that 20-yard shot ain't shit.
No.
It feels like
No,
you're standing on top of the deer. And that has helped me tremendously. I mean, the first 3 deer I ever shot at with a bow, I don't think I was anywhere near even touching the damn thing. And like I said, back then I was just like, if I shot low, I'd aim higher. And until my buddy met me and we got hunting together, and he actually helped me buy my first bow. I had a Matthews switchback, and I regret selling that bow every day.
Switchbacks are nice.
It was his father's bow. He got it for me for a graduation gift. I just had to pay he sold it to me for $300. My buddy paid $150. I paid $150. I just had to take it to Aikens. I had to get my draw length adjusted on it, which was new, the cams or whatever on those older bows. And had it set for me, and I missed my first deer with it. I was all upset. Actually, I didn't miss it. I nicked the no bow zone, or whatever you want to call it. I had that on video. A little spike horn came in between property over by where I work. But, from there, and I was like, just learning. You got to learn. And like these events are so awesome that you're putting on, because I think it's a great spot for people to get and learn and get better at it. And that's the biggest thing with archery, I think, is people are nervous. And it's like, I try to get my old man into it. I'm like, he's got a bad shoulder. He decided when he was young, 3-wheelers would be the best thing to ride wheelies on. Crashed his sled, had to have surgery on his shoulder that was when we were pregnant with my first kid. He crashed his snowmobile and fucked his shoulder all up. And he's like, I can't draw a fucking bow back, and blah, 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 blah. I says, well, hey, crossbows are legal all year now. I said, either that. I said, these new bows ain't like anything you used to shoot. I said, and I said, that PSE was 90% let off.
Right. And that's what like people don't understand is 3D, shooting 3D. Yeah, it's fun. It's like golf. Yeah. Right? You go out with your friends and you go out and play golf. I'm okay. Go shoot 3D. Except the difference when you go shoot 18 holes at golf, it doesn't help you kill a deer this fall.
Exactly.
But if you go out and shoot this 3D course, I guarantee you that when you go out there and you're 20, 25, 30 feet closer to God up a tree, that it makes that shot so goddamn easy that you're not going to have to make the phone calls to, boy, anybody got a drone? Anybody got a dog? It just
get on Facebook. I need a dog. That should be a local bet every year for the first post when that pops up. That's some of my favorite shit. Don't get me wrong. Doing your due diligence, pay the dog trackers is what they're trained for. I like reading the stories and seeing
balls on it, but still,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it's like growing up, even the ones I knew that did shoot, I mean, they're a week before season. They open that case, dust it off, shoot 3 times, 20 yards is good. They put their bow back in the case until they're heading to watch. I mean, in today's day and age, these things, and like I said back then, I didn't know anyone that did any of this or anything. I think with the availability of social media and being able to push these in podcasts, advertisements on Facebook, Instagram, all that. There's still probably some people in the dark that are like doing what their fathers did, their whoever taught them how to hunt. They might get their bow out a month early, shoot 3, 4, 5 times a night. They're just like, oh, you're getting practiced up or whatever. And their 40-yard target looks like a porcupine. And it's like, go to one of these events and just try it. Maybe
Right.
someone there could teach you how to tighten up that 40-yard group. And like I said, we just agreed on, tighten that 40-yard group up, and you step back up to 20 yards and you're like, I feel like I'm like 5 feet from this target. And there's
Right.
so many
And
different things you can learn, and these events open that up to visiting with new people, making new friends, and like I said, just going out, like, you're going to wake up Sunday and eat breakfast, and then what? Some people might go, some are going to church, some are sitting in bed till 11 a.m., especially got the beer flu.
that's right.
But, what most of my Sundays consist of getting up and either scouting or doing, most of mine revolves around work, food plot work, all this stuff. But I'm beyond food plots now. Now it's just a waiting game, watching or trail cameras, shooting my bow in the evenings. Starting to hone in on these and get these podcasts out and breaking out of the shell I've had of just doing them by myself and getting some people on the phone. And it's still a learning
Yep.
curve, but I mean, what else? You get late summer, you're getting there early, you're meeting new friends, you're doing the thing you're enjoying doing, because anyone that's going to be shooting in archery, you're into archery. Or
Yep.
maybe you're not quite into it yet, and this event opens you up, and you're like, holy fuck, this is fun. I want to do this more often. And I went from knowing just the one or the two events, the Bear Pack that does them every now and then, and the Tupper Lake one. And I couldn't even give you a date on the Tupper. I think you are correct. I think it is like the 24th, which is why I never able to go, because that's my son's birthday. I think it is the weekend before. I don't think it has. I think the one on my birthday is actually the Woodsman Fields days. But something they've got those events right there in the same area. But it's late summer. If you're doing food plots and you're this into hunting, it's just another avenue you can go down to increase your foothold in the hunting community, meet new people, and have a good time. I mean, who doesn't want to have a good time?
Right. The meeting new people thing is just so huge because I mean like what we're doing right now or what we do at the Lake Bonaparte ice fishing derby.
Oh yeah,
Like it's the hunting camp mentality. And that's what it took a long time. I was just talking to one of my buddies today, well, about 3 hours ago. Like we got away from the because we're some cold-blooded killers, but we really had to like step away with, and we have to hunt this, we have to hunt this hard, we have to do this. Like, whoa, we need to take a breath and enjoy the hunting camp mentality. Get your friends together, shoot your bows, shoot your guns, enjoy life for what it is, and the spirit of the wild. I have it tattooed on my forearm. In the wind, he's still alive. Get out there into the spirit of the wild and enjoy that hunting camp mentality. If
exactly.
if you're if you're a fishing camp, perfect. You're a hunting camp, perfect. You're standing out there with a bunch of buddies at a 3D shoot, perfect. It's just you're enjoying the outdoors. You're doing what this is what sportsmen are supposed to do.
Absolutely. And that's even that's perfect that you kind of talked about that, because I think it's a breath of fresh air to see that it's almost like it's making a comeback, because for a long time, and like you said, look, I went from when I finally graduated and I was like, oh, you sight bows in. I sighted my bow in, and I got my first buck. I started shooting does, and I'm like, okay, I'm dialing it in. I want to shoot another bigger buck. I shot a little bit of a bigger buck, and I'm like, all right, we're straight for a rack buck now. Like, I want to be. I'm turning New York into Iowa, and I went like 4 or 5 years where I'm like, motherfucker, I can't kill a goddamn deer to save my life. I was still shooting does, filling the freezer, and I'd shoot a buck up at camp, and I didn't have very high standards of
Yep,
when I was
yep.
at camp. I'd shoot a 6 point or something up there during rifle season, but archery season, I'm like, man, I've got to chase. I need a 130-inch deer. And I took a step back and I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? I'm only doing this to myself, and I'm following people on Facebook. And like you said, I took a step back shot a younger buck, and I was shaking. I was happy, excited, and I'm like, why did I think I graduated from a point where I was letting deer go, or I was trying to hunt these spots where I'm not going to see a deer unless it's the biggest buck of my life? I still work 5 days a week, sometimes six. I don't live in
Yeah.
Iowa. I don't live in Illinois. I don't have, there's no, I mean, I just can't say no. There's very little farmland around me, and I drive 15 minutes and I'm in the Adirondacks. There's no farmland in the Adirondacks. The
Right.
age group of deer and the amount of deer per square mile. And I stepped back and I started looking at it. I was hunting bow season so hard that when rifle season hit, it was like a breath of fresh air because it was literally like stepping back every time rifle season. So now I treat bow season the same way, and I'm relaxed. I'm having more fun, and I'm hunting with buddies, and my wife now got into it. So there's that extra addition to it, and it's the step back and the revolution or the revolving door of I'm back into, and I've seen it with a lot of people. Like you said, that hunting camp, the camaraderie, like that's all way more fun than putting 100. And don't get me wrong, shooting 150-inch deer is a riot. But let me tell you what, I can go weeks without shooting a deer, drinking beer, drinking whiskey, having fun at hunting camp.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
tell you what, I remember those memories just as much as that 10 seconds it took to shoot a deer. And then that's just another memory. But all the
Yeah.
times you
And
got out there with your boys, and it's like everyone's like, well, if you still bow hunted during the rut, it's like, listen, luckily, I get 7 weekends a year where I can step back. Friday nights, I'm having a good time. And now, even, what is it, my son will be 6 this year. So he's been coming up to our camp and hunting. And, my wife would come in and get him when he was too small to walk through the snow and stuff. But for the last 3 years ish, he's been going up, and it's his favorite place on earth. And I get 7 weekends a year where I'm with my father. My son's with me now. So you got 3 generations in this camp. I've got Owen's up there with us with his father. If they would do that for bow season on, you would have to drug me and drag me out of that camp just to get
exactly.
me to leave, because I would never hunt anywhere else. Now, don't get me wrong. I
Right.
enjoy, and that's my bow season. My bow season is, hey, let's go hunt Letchworth. Let's go hunt these different areas. All right, I'll go fuck off for a weekend. But I'm not doing it by myself like I was back then. I want to go with 4 or 5 dudes that if I wake up on, we would go on a Thursday and we hunt Friday hard, and Saturday you wake up and you're like, might have had one too many last night. I think I'm going to sleep till like 8, 9 o'clock, and then I'm going to go scout. And they all look over at you and go, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. And we get up and have breakfast, and those are the times I remember more than anything else I've ever done. And I think,
Right.
like I said, even on social media, like I can remember when I was first, and I'm sure it's still there. I'm just finally on the right pages and on the right track. But I can remember social media like, I have a hard time dating myself lately. I'm going to be 29 this year. And every time I think back on it, I'm like, oh, it's been 10 plus years since I've been in school, la, la, la. But I would say social media within the last 10 years, leading up to maybe the last year, 2 years, you go on a hunting page and you shot even the buck you killed last year, which was a beautiful buck. We'll talk about that in a second. It's probably one of the
Yep.
prettiest pack mounts I've ever seen. One of the most amazing works done on a mount like that. Even if you posted that deer in some of the pages, you would get belittled within the first 10 comments.
Oh, and that's exactly why I, started Rowell Outdoors, and that's why I've always taken the view that I do, and that's why I've always envied. I don't even remember how the heck I bumped into Explicit Outdoors. I think it was based around the seeing your last name bounce around in the Lake Bonaparte area,
Oh, probably.
and and then I'm like, oh, what is this? And I look into it, and I'm like, this dude has the exact mentality I do.
Oh, just bullshit. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
my
take
first
the
group,
take
my first group of guys that we
exactly.
started filming with, it was high school. They were young. They all got out, went working, doing their whole thing. So now Explicit Outdoors is mostly me. But dude, I can go back and I'm still friends with them all. Don't get me wrong on that. I'm still really good friends with all of them, for the most part, and still talk to them, get along. It just turned into some shit when we were first doing this, and at first I was like, I want this to be I want to be a TV show, and then I was like, you can't be a TV show if you're swearing and not censoring it. And I was like, all right, I want to be big on YouTube, and now I'm to a point, and it's like no different than what we just talked about with the deer. I want to do this for me. It's like this podcast. I want to do this for me and you, so that when people tune in, like this is a great advertisement, but it's not also an advertisement. It's also, hey, don't be nervous to come to this shoot. And maybe someone listening will go, yeah, they got a point.
Right.
Why haven't I gone to one? Um, but like beyond you, I've got my buddy's dad builds guide boats, and he's probably the next one I'm going to ask to come in and sit down and just visit. He was in the military for a long time. He's done the 90 miler up north, many other
No
different.
shit.
Oh, dude, he builds absolutely beautiful guide boats. I will have one before they are beautiful, dude. But it's like that. That was when I first started. I was like, oh, this is gonna be big. And then I started going. I'm like, we started like the camera I'm using to film this. We bought it back then, and I was doing like we do our meetings. Which I think I'm about to lose my camera. I think it's overheating, or SD card. I'm looking at is blinking at me. Which whatever. We'll just put audio after this. The what was I going at camera? Oh yeah. We bought the camera as like a team. And then a handful of them were like, oh, I don't know. We're not really filming. I don't film, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, I'll buy the camera out. And then after that, it kind of was like, this will be easier. I said, it's going to suck financially buying cameras and stuff. And luckily, my parents have been awesome. We own the trash business, and we got a little bit of money to throw around. They've helped me tremendously buying the equipment I need to do some of these things. And that's what parents are. You push you.
Yeah.
And my parents have always pushed me, even through sports in high school and the whole 9 yards. So I phased out the friends part of it, just because it was starting to create issues in the friend group, and I didn't want that at all. I didn't want issues to begin with, let alone drama and the bullshit that followed it. And I'd seen another
Right.
group that kind of fell off for the same reasons, and I was like, I'm going to avoid that. And so I just phased it out, bought the camera from everybody. It was our first 4K camera. And I've been through some cameras now where I've got mirrorless and some nicer cameras, and I put a little more work and effort into the videos and stuff. But like you just said, like it was just, I was never going to censor anything, because the idea behind Explicit Outdoors, was the definition of explicit was it was straight to the point. And I wanted to be
Right.
straight to the
Right.
point, because you watch all these shows on TV and they skip so much. And then you hear behind the scenes, like you go on Working Class Bowhunter, and one of my favorite channels to watch, and I'm talking down on Big Deer, but one of my favorite channels to watch, and it's because he's no different than the rest of us behind scenes. And I think that's the best part about podcasts is you get the behind scenes. One of my favorite Working Class Bowhunter podcasts from this last year was Lee Ellis from Seek One.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
he's on there talking, and you're like, this ain't the dude you watch on YouTube.
No, dude, I thought the same thing. I listened to that episode. I'm like, this dude, larger than life. He has immersed himself into the social media world like he is a god,
Oh yeah,
right?
one
Like he
hundred
is
percent. And then he, like, even behind, like, you got people talking shit like, oh, the dude puts in work, kills
right.
massive deer, and he's humble as fuck.
Wicked. Then he gets on Working Class Bowhunter with all those yahoos. I friggin' love Working
Oh,
Class Bowhunter.
100%. That's what I tell
That's
people
what
all the time. I'm like, if I'd have known when I first started listening to podcasts, I was like, I kind of want to do that, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I wish I'd have jumped
right.
into it, but it didn't matter. I tell people all the time, I said in 2015, before I even started Explicit Outdoors and I was listening to podcasts, Working Class Bowhunters stole my idea, because they were straight. And I was like, when I first heard them from, it was Dan Johnson's podcast, Nine Finger Chronicles, and they did it at I don't think it was ATA. I don't know what show. It might have been Iowa Classic or something. When they did it, it was like a split 2-part. And I'm like, damn, these guys are cussing. They're bullshitting. They're drinking beer. And I'm like, this is what you don't see anywhere. Because
Right.
leading up to that, everybody was, you've got to censor it. It's got to look good. No beer, no, smoke. No, I smoke cigars. None of that. Not allowed. Not allowed to do any of that, because it's a bad image. I'm like, I would say it's a higher percentage of people enjoy that, other than the random person who's like, my son listens to this. And it's like,
It's like, well, your son's a pussy then. You fucking have him not listen to it. Like,
Exactly. It's
goddamn.
like, we enjoyed your show until we heard a swear word, and I'm like, okay, don't listen to it, don't watch it.
Yeah, it's like, well, go back to the Christian rock channel then, man. Like,
Exactly.
get out of
Just
here.
go back, order Direct TV, and watch the Outdoors channel. It's
Yeah,
not.
but like that's when because I mean, I've been following you right along and watch all your trout fishing videos and your hunting videos, and I keep right along with it.
I appreciate
And
it.
then as soon as you announce you're going to the podcast, I'm like, I immediately got and I message you and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, it was quick.
dude, I'm in. I will help you do whatever you want. Like this is a working class blue collar guy that is just the definition of a good old boy that wants to go out, hunt, fish, kill, drink, smoke. A good old boy from northern New York,
Oh yeah, where you don't
right?
hear anything.
Not from fucking Iowa, Illinois. Yeah, I got a couple 150s. I'm
Exactly.
waiting. Now, screw that. This is just smash mouth podcast, explicit outdoors. Like it was awesome. I'm like, oh my god, because this was my dream. This is what I wanted. I wanted to do exactly what you're doing now. Like I wanted to make the podcast. I even had a sweet name for it that I won't give out because maybe one day I'll have my own podcast. But
There you go.
I'm like, it was just this is what Central and Northern New York needs. This is a podcast that New York in general needs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I
Like, don't
seen,
get me
and
wrong.
it's don't get me wrong. I feel like, and I don't care if this blows up into the biggest thing in the world. My biggest thing with it is, and like I said earlier, I do it now for myself. Nothing. Dude, it'll be. My kid's been fighting me all summer. We kind of give him a little leeway to sleep, stay up a little later. My middle son, my oldest son, has special needs. He's not been a hunter. He does a little fishing. He likes being outdoors. He loves animals. But he doesn't care to hunt. He doesn't really care to fish or nothing. He is huge on the fact if anyone comes over, he helped me fix a bobcat set one time down back, and we caught a bobcat in it, and I got it mounted. And so if anyone ever asks, he tells people the whole story about how we caught that bobcat together. But he won't
Oh,
hunt. He
that's
doesn't.
awesome.
He doesn't care to. But my middle son Ryder, who was on, people listening, he was on the first podcast, I think. He has been ever since. I'm looking at a picture right now with some geese. He has hunted with me since he was 1 year old. Now, don't September something. He's born October 29th. So yeah, he was almost 2. But I tell people all the time, he can go to school and tell you, oh yeah, you've hunted since you were 5. I've hunted since I was 1. I did that all through school. I've hunted since I was 4. I've hunted since, you always bragged to all your friends and stuff. But
Oh yeah.
it'll be, I'll go in to go shut his TV off 8:30, 9 o'clock or whatever. And he's watching our turkey hunt from 3 years ago. That's what I do it for. I don't
Yes.
do it for I think the biggest viewed video I've got was, oh, and I could kick his fucking ass. Owen Davis, you son of a bitch. It's
That guy.
my most viewed video at, I think the last time I checked, it was 14 or 15,000 views, 16,000, somewhere in there. I went down and ran coyotes with him. And I tell him I'm like, dude, a GoPro in your phone, film me. He's like, I don't know how to do it. I'm not that good at it. And I'm like, it is the most viewed video. If we're going for views, you could kill me with a couple coyote running videos. Won't do it. But
Yeah, he's a
Ryder
good
goes
kid.
Ryder goes back and watches those videos, and I go back and I watch those videos. And it's like last week, I told my buddy in Vermont, he hunts Vermont and New York, and we were bullshitting. We kind of joke back and forth all the time about 6.5 Creedmoors. And I sent him a meme on Facebook in
How they're queer.
exactly. And we were bullshitting back and forth and whatever. And I mean, that's what I gained from it. I look back on that video, and I hadn't watched it in a while. I mean, it's got a couple thousand views, or almost 2,000 something, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things. But until you break it down, like 2,000 people is a lot of people.
Right.
I don't know
Especially
that
for our
many people
area.
off the top of my head. And I was like, and the things that my channel has brought me, not a lot of people can say, oh, I had a shitty camera and I got invited to Vermont to go fish lake trout on Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
And I get to go back anytime I want to and watch this video. And there's some footage in there, and I'm like, dude, behind the scenes, so much more went on there. Like, I can't, like, the best part about that entire trip was my buddy Ian bitching out, which was irrelevant. It was French Canadians came down. We were trolling for Lakers, and they cut in halfway through us. We got tied into their trolling ball or the downrigger ball, and they started screaming in French at us. My buddy just started. He threw the fucking downrigger ball at them and everything. Dude, they had everyone pissed off. But that's not in the video. I didn't want to piss anyone off back then. I was still young and a little nervous about it, and I don't have that footage anymore. I lost all that in our house fire. But but that's the thing. Like, I can go back and I'm like, that's all for me, more or less. And I've got them all. I went through and saved them all in case YouTube ever does some bullshit thing where they pull all hunting channels and fishing channels and
I would have been yelling right back at those
Oh,
frauds.
dude, we were screaming at them, but it didn't matter. They didn't know English when I barely knew graduated French class out of high school. But I mean, that's the thing with it, and it's like these podcasts is the same thing. I don't care if I get 50,000 people that are listening to it, but if I can have some cool ass guests that come in here, and it's like bullshitting with you, and getting some people in here and just have a good time, meet new people, learn new things. Like, I don't know shit about guide boats, and this guy's built a bunch of them. When he was down wherever he was, I can't remember. It's like my buddy, but he went to his son went to high school with me, and his father's the one that's done all this. I mean, he's got some wicked stories, and that's what I want it for me. But the availability I have, or the ability I have, to be able to talk into a mic or look into a camera and not be shy or nervous or stutter or have an issue and be able to share that is like, that's why I extend it as like, I'm doing it for me, doing it to look back on because I love this shit. I love hunting, anything to do with the outdoors. I mean, hunting's obviously the top. Like I always said in the first podcast, I didn't want this to specifically be about hunting. In the first 5 fucking podcasts were about black bears and everything else. And I was like, Kenzie's like, you should turn it into a black bear hunting podcast. All we're going to talk about is the bears. But I go on and talk about fishing. I go on and talk about trapping. I'd love to have. I wish old Johnny Thorpe was still alive. We could talk about trapping up in the big woods. I said he's got some of the best YouTube videos, and they look like they were recorded with a potato. I said those are the ones that I love. I love all that old shit. My old man's texting me. He's up in Tupper right now. He went early.
Yeah, it's just it's there's nothing in this area. There's no I don't know. Maybe there's a podcast out there that I'll piss someone off with, but there's no
I don't
fucking
know anyone.
good podcasts in New York.
And you get these guys on Big Woods podcasts that are from the Adirondacks and stuff, but it's a northeastern, more of a northeastern collective one, and they are big. And I love listening to them, and you learn things on them. But it's the same thing as Big Woods Bucks, and that was like Explicit Outdoors. Like I always like before I started this, I spent more time worrying about a name, because I didn't want it to be Northeastern Hunting Podcast or. So I didn't want it to be hunting. I wanted it to be anything I wanted to talk about with whoever I wanted to talk about. And it wouldn't be something so specific that it wouldn't pop up when someone searched for it. And I wanted someone to be able to search the 90 miler. And there would be, maybe on top of John could introduce me to 3 or 4 guys that build boats. And I get even like a different perspective. If someone searched guide boats and a podcast popped up, I was able to introduce somebody that was interested into them within the podcast or even a YouTube video. I find that cooler than getting a million views. I find it cool that it popped up, you learn something from it, and then you can continue to learn, or maybe even they reach out to me and I can point them in a direction. And that's why I guess saying doing it for myself isn't probably the proper way of saying that, because if I was doing it for myself, I wouldn't put it out there to the public, I don't think, I guess, in terms of thinking about it. But I do it to extend that on top of doing it for myself so that other people learn it and hear about it. And I love helping buddies out, like you doing the shoots and stuff. I was like, I know it's short notice, but I'm going to go out. I did it at like fucking, I don't know, 8:45, 9 o'clock that night. I ran out here and I'm like, I'm going to get one. Did it. I spoke for like 20, 30 minutes. I literally ran inside. My wife was like, I got a shower. Will you power up my computer? Hopped in the shower, got out, edited it, which matching the camera to the mic is a pain in the balls. Edited it, and I can't upload anything from my house. My internet is terrible out here. So I literally load it onto an SD card. I get up an hour early before work, in which, granted, I'm again blessed because we own the business and I can do this shit. Drive to work an hour early, plug that into our computers at work where we have way better internet, start uploading all the podcasts, and I upload it to Spotify and YouTube, and it takes till literally, even with the better signal, I think the last one was only 35 minutes for when I did that little advertisement for you, or maybe even shorter than that. I
Yeah.
started it at, I think, like 5:30. I finally, after writing the description and doing everything, I hit publish. And I couldn't even, I was 10:30 before I got a notification that it was even done uploading. So it was almost 3 hours before
That's
it was done
crazy.
uploading. And like these things take up a wicked file on a computer, and they
Oh,
take
I bet.
forever to upload. And it's like, I was like, but that's the thing. Like, I got to get this out. And so I got it done with that night. I stayed up, got it knocked out, got it edited, uploaded. But that's the shit I love. And that's the shit I want to do. And at first I was like, I want to bank like 5 fucking episodes so I can release one a week. And then I was like, the first week I missed a week, and I'm like, damn it. I was like, son of a bitch. And I was like, no one wants to keep just listening to me. I was like, but I was, same thing is kind of, and putting myself out there. I am genuinely, or I wouldn't say nervous. I can talk. Clearly I can talk. I've been rambling for the last 10 minutes, but to get somebody on that I don't know is a little nerve wracking, because you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know, like, our dynamic back and forth is working out really well. You don't know how able somebody is to tell a story. Like, I've been around a campfire and like, I'm like, I'm going to go to bed. This guy can't tell a hunting story to save his life. And it's like,
This
what
guy
the fuck?
sucks.
Oh, you went out one day, shot the deer, and that was it. You're going to show me a picture of this 8 point, and you're not going to, dude, I can take a picture of a buck and tell you a 1 hour story by just rambling and bullshitting. And I'm like, meanwhile, this guy's like, yep, got this one, sat, and it was like 8 o'clock, shot it. I was like, that's cool, dude.
Like sick, man. How long did you have him on camera before? It's like, fuck this. I'm having another beer and I'm going to bed. I don't want to deal with you.
Exactly. And I was like, that's the thing. And I was like, I might get this from my father. My father can talk, especially get a few beers in him, a couple drinks in him. He don't shut up. But
He's a good fan. I'll never forget it. He's a good fan, especially that lake trout that which is just shy of 19 pounds. Let me tell you what,
no
he was my
shit, I
number
didn't know it
one
was even
fan
that
out
big.
there.
I know it's big in the
Oh,
picture, but Christ Almighty, he's never feared away from a Samsung phone. And that's a rugby, which is their lowest, cheapest. It's the quote unquote indestructibles
oh
because he's
yeah.
abusive on them. And I don't, you took that picture from even far enough away that you can barely make it out. Like I said earlier, I'll throw it up on the screen here. But, oh yeah, no, he all the time I'll get a message. Oh, you got to take this kid hunting. So I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to take him hunting, but thanks for telling him about my YouTube channel. If he's a young enough kid, I was like, I'm not taking a 28-year-old to my deer hunting spots. As much as you talk about it, I was like, I'll give him some pointers. This is like, even in the YouTube comments, like, I'll help you a little bit, but where are you hunting? Yeah, okay, guy. That's not
Yeah.
happening. What do you mean, where am I hunting? In the woods. In the
Oh, I
woods.
do that. I do that all the time on the Mad River Club. It's 12,000. It's a 12,000 acre lease.
Oh, no kidding.
And yeah, they're like, "Oh man, where'd you shoot that one? That like my archery buck. Where'd you shoot that?" And I'm like, "I shot. You'll never believe it. I shot him right at the. Of course, this will make sense to you when I say Tri County marker. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The St. Lawrence County, Jefferson County, Lewis
Yep.
County line.
Yep.
So on our lease, we also no one ever calls it that. I'm the only one that even calls it that. We have a tri-county marker:
Oh, no kidding.
Jefferson, Lewis, and Oswego.
There you go.
There's no marble pillar or anything there.
Yeah.
Man, where'd you shoot him, man? I said, I went right in. I go, it's like the Bermuda Triangle in there. I shot him right at the tri-county marker. I got a stand in there. Oh my, something about that tri-county marker, that Bermuda Triangle.
Something
And
to do with
man,
the
I'm not even.
magnetic pull.
Yeah, fuck, I'm not 5 miles from there. But
Exactly.
it's so
That's
funny.
one of my uncle growing up. Where'd you shoot that? He said, you know where there is? And they're like, what? He said, there, over there. over by there, that's where I
Yeah.
shot him. By
Really
there.
close to there, though.
It was really close to there. If you get over there, let me know if you're there. He said, and then you probably shoot a deer. It was
But like
like,
I tell people all the time, like, where do you hunt? Where do you hunt? And I'm like, I hunt in Redfield. And then there's people, oh man, you don't want to tell people, where you're hunting.
well,
People. I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, if you have the ambition and balls to come hunt in Redfield, God bless you. Call me at the end of the day if you need help dragging, and we'll meet down to the square in downtown Redfield, and we'll have some drinks. Because hunting
exactly.
in Redfield sucks because there's not that many deer. There's some big bucks that run up there. I have seen that, but this isn't like you're coming up there and you're gonna see past $5 today. One was, I don't know, he was probably just sub 120 inches. Like, no, fuck no, you're not gonna see that. So if there's
Well,
anybody out
you
there
do see
listening
that.
that
You're
wants to,
definitely not letting it go.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, I don't give a shit. I'll tell people, yeah, I hunt in Redfield.
Well, that's
And
it's funny you say that. And then we talk about Lake Bonaparte. When we were first start getting into Lakers, not to backtrack, when we were first starting to get into lake trout and we were fishing, I'm going to dox us a little bit here, but we were fishing Sylvia Lake, and everyone's like, "How you guys are catching a shitload of lake trout? How do you catch them?" Well, we're jigging them. Well, where are you fishing? We kept telling people we were fishing on Lake Bonaparte. Hindsight, Lake Bonaparte's fucking better than Sylvia Lake, and
wicked.
I've seen some beautiful lake trout coming out of Lake Bonaparte, especially yours included.
Yep.
I mean, right where you're going to camp is one of the biggest ones that's ever been entered into the Derby.
No shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, but it's
How
like,
about, so it's Cody is what, your cousin or something?
no, Cody's not related to me at all. He was the Make a Wish kid that I gave a job a handful of years ago.
Come on.
He,
Really? You
no,
guys
I'm
aren't
not
related? I
related
thought
to
you
him at
guys were
all.
related.
No, his brother married my sister, but other than that, he's just been one of my best friends. We do a lot together. We're actually talking about planning go slaughter some does during that early bullshit season they're talking about.
Yep.
He wants to go do a camping trip, and I told him I'd be down. I mean, but that's the thing. Like, we goose hunt together, we get our kids together, we do all that. But no, he's just one of my really good friends. I've known him. I knew both of his brothers before I knew him, and he's actually now one of my better friends that I talk to. He works for us. He's a good worker,
No
and
shit. Maybe that's why I thought you guys were related, because he worked for you.
nope, and he's worked for us. I think this is his 10th year actually working for us.
He was a
Coming up.
Make-A-Wish kid. Jesus Christ. No.
Cody's good shit. He's one of my best friends. He's for people listening, we talked about his business here a couple podcasts ago. Bare bones, European Texas mounts, whatever you go by when you talk about him.
Yep.
He's done all my bears, my father's deer, a couple of my deer. He does a killer job. He's right out of Natural Bridge, New York. Good dude, good guy. The only fuck up I know about is and this is just as much on the customer. Last year he boiled down some for a guy out in Krogan, and he had like just dropped him off a day or like a couple hours ago. And Cody had texted him, told him they were done. The dude drove out, and Cody answered the door, and he's like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Why are you back so soon?" And the guy's like, "You texted me, told me they were done." Cody's like, "Oh shit, I don't even started yours. Let me see what number I texted." It was like one number off, and he had texted this guy on accident, told him that his deer were done. The guy's like, "Yeah." He's like, Cody's like, "I'm gonna knock some money off, dude. I feel so bad that you drove all the way back out here because I texted you." He's like, "You wasted your gas and time to come out here to pick these things up. They're not even done yet." And Cody ended up bumping him ahead, getting his shit done in like a day or two, knocking them out, getting them cleaned up and stuff, and knocking some money off for him. So if that doesn't speak to his character, then
Dude, he
for
did.
who you're going to use.
He did a 9-point of my father's. Did this. My dad shot a megalodon of a 7-point. I mean, one of the biggest bucks that we've ever shot in the club. I mean, body wise, rack wise, mass. And then I shot, I think I shot a really nice 8-point. And I took my stuff to him too.
Oh yeah.
I even left the little bare bones tags on the eye sockets and they're all hanging up in my camp.
There you go. That's sweet.
So no, it's funny. Small world.
Oh yeah, no, and that's the funniest thing. It's like you. Um, I can remember like when you reached out first, like you were talking about the Lake Bonaparte shit, and then I was like, it's like full circle. I'm like, Connor Rowell. I said, get on Facebook like you do. And you start stalking motherfuckers, and you're like, he knows Owen Davis. So I call Owen up. I'm like, yo, you know Connor? He's like, oh, do I know Connor? And I was like, oh yeah. And he's like, no,
Dude,
Connor.
Owen and I have known each other since we were like little kids.
Yeah, and so that's actually Owen and I. He was actually his grandparents. I don't know his father was actually a full time member or not, but we met at the camp up in Tupper. That's how we met each other. Was his grandparents were friends with my
No
grandparents up
shit.
there, and I think we were maybe. Oh, he's a couple years younger than I am, so I might have been 6 or 7. He was 4 or 5. He's Alex's age, my younger brother. And I mean, we used to
Yep.
before we got into the crew we're into now, where we ride around and ride wheelers and do all that stuff. That was the only we'd go down to their camp, hang out. They'd come down, and that's how we got to know Owen. And we had a gap where when they got done at Tupper, he was far enough away that you don't stay in touch. There was no social media. There was no. I was too young for cell phones, let alone how do I get his number after not knowing him for so long. And then, you talk shit about social media for so long, but really it brought me back one of my this point now, my best friend, like a brother to me, to a point, my kids call him Uncle Owen and Aunt Megan.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, like that full circle, small world shit. And, he literally, I can go back in our text. I can't, cause it's actually, like I said, one of the friends that I truly stay in touch with regularly, daily. We had, talking hunting trips and bullshit like that. But when I first started this, and he's like, who'd be a good guest? And I was like, what's up? And he's like, you need to get fucking Connor on. And I was like, you did. He's already reached out to me. I already reached out to him. I was like, Connor's like the first guest that's going to be on.
I'm like, brother, he's doing it. He's doing it. And he's like, you should get on. And I'm like, I'm already booked, baby.
I was like, he's like, you need to get. I was like, dude, he's probably going to be the first guest, which wound up being a local kid. But I was like, he's going to be one of the first ones that calls in or gets coming out here. I said, I'll even make him the fucking co-host. Call in once I get what I need to get to be able to run a phone call, and the other mics. I said, dude, if there was one person that has the energy to match mine and the ability to carry conversation to throw out there and have on the podcast, I was like, Connor is on top of the list to get this thing going, to icebreaker, so to get my nerves broke, to bullshitting and being able to talk to, and it worked out good because of you're putting these events on. We get to advertise those, get to build up some people's confidence that maybe want to go shoot though. Like, and it's funny. It is small world, and all these people, and it's like the more you meet, the more you talk to, and it's like, oh, I know that. And it's like the same thing today. It's like my father, a guy walks in, he's up here cleaning a camp, and it wound up being a camp that my grandfather took care of. And my father is like, oh yeah, I've been in that camp a handful of times. We used to blah, blah, blah. He's like, was your father Doug Clark? And I'm sitting there drinking coffee going, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny how the world works because, and I know some people don't like to be called this, but like social media influencers, like there's some guys in the outdoor space. I'm not an influencer. Well, guess what you are? This podcast, your videos, you are a social media influencer because you are influencing people to, well, maybe I am going to go, oh, man, I really don't know a lot about brook trout fishing, but I'm going to go do it. Or, man, I really don't know a lot about bear hunting, but I know a property that kind of has them. Fuck it, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
Oh, he talks about hunting the big woods. I'm going to go do it.
You're going to get disappointed.
Yeah, that's right. But you're influencing them into disappointment.
Exactly. They can talk.
Still an influencer.
They can at least look back and go, "What the fuck would I listen to that guy who said it was fun to come out here?" Well, no, I didn't say it was fun to come out here. I said going to camp and hunting with people out of a camp and bullshitting and having that camaraderie is a good time. Shooting a buck up here, regardless of its size, is something that you should look on. And then that's the thing, and it's like, Yeah, no, and I use the term lightly, and I don't want to be. It sounds funny to say that because you think about social media influencer. I'm thinking about fucking T Bone, Michael Waddell, and like all these people that
Yep.
are huge. And it's like there are some of the smaller people are just as big of influencers as the bigger people. Just obviously, the bigger people are broadcasted a lot more, especially through like T Bone and Michael Waddell or Bone Collector. Everybody knows Bone Collector.
Yep.
And especially those guys, and they're no different. And it's circling back to working class bow hunter. You watch their YouTube or their TV shows and their YouTube, and they're these clean and they had some funny shit when T Bone used to be before his accident or for his sick, what he had going on and
Yep.
everything else when he used to do his skits back in the day and stuff. But dude, you get them guys and you listen to the other side of it, and once you listen to it, you're like, I knew all along they were just some good old boys. They're on there, Micah's drinking beer with them, T-Bone's cursing and swearing, and
Yep.
and it's like, okay, no, like this is, and that's the thing, and it's like, that's where the Working Class Bow Hunter podcast, and I think they got so big and they're so popular, and it's like, because they just stayed true to it, and I look up to them on the influence level of it as they at least, and this is where I get, it's like you just said, you don't want to say it, it's kind of gross sounding. It's like influencing wise, you can go two ways. Where you're like the working class boner guys are like, I'm not trying to be humble about it or whatever, but me, like, you can go on their social media as a nobody and Kurt is going to answer. Like, he
Yeah.
will
Isn't that
message you,
crazy?
talk back to you no matter what. You reach out to Bone Collector, you're not going to hear from anybody.
No, no.
And it's
Well, it
like,
was like the other day, like you liked that comment I had about the timber tugs.
oh yeah.
And they interacted with it. I'm like, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
But
No,
like
100%.
it goes down even on a small scale. So last year, I jumped on board with being a pro staff for Big Woods Scent Company, and after this podcast, we got to get together and we'll got some details to talk out about that.
Yep.
Um, Big Woods Scents, I'd followed them. They had some social media outreach, and then I got a hold of them. They're looking for pro staff, and I'm like, I don't really know. I've been burned in the past.
Yeah,
So I
that's
said,
my problem.
yeah, and we talked about that. So I was like, let me buy a couple of their things, right? I'm gonna be the consumer. And the first thing I bought was a scrape and lick. And I've been to runnings, I've been to Gander Mountain, I've been to Cabela's. I bought all the shit you can buy.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
Oh man, this shit's gotta work. This is gonna be it. And it fucking never works. However, I bought that Big Wood Sense and I bought the scrape and lick. And let me tell you what, and this isn't a commercial. This is not a commercial. However, that Big Wood Sense is absolutely disgusting on how it works. I wouldn't have killed my buck with a bow at 17 yards without it. I had those deer coming into a community scrape. And then they were there. I was on water because it was early October. And then I had big briars, and I was in the middle of that and on this old skidder path, and there was a community scrape, and it's because of that. And I'm like, it was I ended up being a pro staff with them before I shot that buck, but I'm like, the proof is in the pictures.
Oh,
I spend
100%.
I spend a lot of money on trail cameras every month. I pay a freaking, I could probably have a really cool boat if I wouldn't spend so much on trail
I
cameras.
hear you there.
And I'm like, man, I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna reach out to him. So fill out this application, go through stuff, looks me up, and he's like, yeah, bro, you're pretty cool. Let's do this. Let's do this partnership. So he sent me a bunch of stuff, and then I'm like, oh man, I'm back. I'm back in the influencer world. I gotta like start pushing this product out. And I'm like, well, I didn't really have to push shit. I took my trail camera pictures of bucks absolutely beating the shit out of licking branches. I'm like, these are the kind of companies that I want to influence for because I don't have to do shit.
Don't have to
The
do
proof is in
shit.
the
It's
proof's in the pictures.
don't have to do shit. It works. The guys behind the company are backing you and they're fun to get along with. And it's like,
Wicked.
it's not like the ones I've dealt with where it's like at first they're all gung ho And then you're trying to reach out about something or trying to talk to them about something or trying to meet up with them and actually meet them in person instead of through emails or social media. And it's always a cat and mouse game. You're not hearing from them. You're not gaining anything from them. And it's like,
It's a money grab. It's a free outlet for them for broadcasting their product. It's all
exactly.
bullshit.
And I just got sick of it. And it's like that one, when that went from, I was getting excited for these and I was trying them and doing different things and pushing them. We're taking, one I did there, I'm not going to dox them or nothing, but I literally took pictures of me using it. Uh, 20, 30 pictures, go through, edit them, use them on social media, tagging them the whole 9 yards. And it's like, I didn't get fucking shit out of this. And I spent my own time, my own money. I'm using a
Yeah.
$2,500 camera with $1,000 lens on it. And I'm not, I'm at some point you're like, for what I'm doing, the advertisement wise, I know what we spend in advertisement and donations and everything for just the garbage business and stuff. I was like, there's no way they can't, like, there's got to be a way where we could make money or at least give back to these guys that are putting in this much effort to build up your product. And, and I was just like, eventually I got so sick of it. I was like, yeah, they're just like you just said, it's free to them because you're getting these guys that are small. And I am going to throw myself under the bus. I was pretty giddy and excited to be doing these things. At first it was a
Oh,
clothing
me
what I did.
too. Me too,
Then it
man.
was clothing, and then it was a scent company, and then what was this? Clothing, calls, and the call one definitely didn't work out. He was doing 10%, and this deer call was like $130, and I was like, yeah, I can go to Walmart. And I was
Yeah,
like, if you're not gonna
throw me
send
a
me
fucking bone.
exactly, if you're not gonna send me a deer call as your pro staff, field staff, I've got a 10% off, so you can. I'm like, I'm nothing. I'm just advertising, but still paying you $120 for this call. No, that one didn't work out. And then the scent company, and they were the farthest I went because I actually talked to them over the phone, and I was like, it seemed genuine. And then it just shot right out the window, and I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm 0 for 3 on these fucking things. It doesn't like
Yeah,
didn't make sense anytime I did it
it's
with
a
anybody.
it's a hell of a world with those guys.
Yeah, and I was like, it's one like if you were to come out with something, and it's like my buddy back in the day, Ian. I was like, I used to push his calls like crazy. I got a couple duck calls, couple goose calls, deer call, and I did that solely on the fact that he was my homeboy back then in Vermont, and he was doing his thing, chasing a dream, and I was like, fuck yeah. And I didn't ask for handouts. He would, and I was like, I appreciated it. Don't get me wrong. I bought most of the calls, but he sent me a deer call. I used the shit out of that. I just back then I was just like until like a couple people started posting videos where they weren't killing things and people were still watching them. I'm like, fuck, I can post the hell out of me not killing anything. I was like, that deer hunting shit is hard up here. I was like, it's one thing people want to watch you kill something, but I can post about 100 videos a year of me not shooting something. I said, we blow on this deer call all night long. But we,
Dude, I'll tell you, there's there's a duck and a goose call. They just come out with a goose call. I think they have a duck call out now. There's a company you got to jump on and try try this duck call. The So for like turkey hunting, I use Cartel custom calls.
yep,
I It's my diaphragms, it's my pot calls, uh, the crystal over aluminum. Like that's what I use, and they're fucking awesome. They're right out of Western, well, right out of like Henrietta area, Rochester area,
yep.
and
I
Tyler
didn't know
Breen
that. I
is
knew they
the
were New York, but I didn't know exactly where.
yeah, dude. Tyler Breen owns a company. Dude, Breen is the coolest psychopath dude ever. Like I'm telling you, you got to because I'm about to put an order in, and I want to try it because they just got into duck calls. He's always been around the duck business, but he's focused on the turkey calls.
Turkey on the things. Yep.
And then he's like, now he has a shop and like a big shop with a lot of expensive equipment. He's like, fuck it, it's time. I'm making duck calls.
Yep.
And so I'm excited to jump on that bandwagon. But
No, that's
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I got a buddy
the,
downstate that bakes the mouth calls that I buy, and he's a turkey killing fool too. He just doesn't
yeah,
have a pay. I
those,
tell him every year, I'm like, dude, you could sell the shit out of these things. I was like, you need to make like an actual business page and do it. And he's like, well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do. I buy it from him just because it's like anything. I'm going to support my homies. So it's like, but when it
Yes,
comes
support a
to
friend.
Owen, back to Owen, he had JT calls,
Yep.
and I used it one weekend when he was up here. And I fell in love with their glass over slate that he had. It's like waterproof. And dude, that call this year killed 5 birds, and 4 more could have died if people could hit them, or yeah, more or less if people could hit them, but Owen included. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's like anything. They sound, people are putting in work for some of these calls, and they're making them, and that's what I prefer too. And it's like, yeah, I could go to Walmart and spend $25 and buy a slate call, or I could spend 65 and support this dude that's living the American dream and putting these and it's like even the small guy down, he's selling his mouth calls for like $6 a pop. I buy 4 or 5 of them at a pop for 20, $30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And after I'll use the ones I like, and whoever I take youth hunting, I just give them a mouth call. I'm like, there you go.
Here you go. Bang on this thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. I said, your parents are gonna fucking love this. Try
Dude,
it out.
I'll bring these pot calls up when I come up to the studio sometime, and I'll let you fuck around with these, and you're gonna be like, "Yeah, dude, you weren't bullshitting." I mean, when I say that you can fucking talk to them, cartel custom calls that run, like they're. My son's 8 years old and can take that crystal, and he can bang on that thing, and it sounds awesome. It's like, okay, man, hey, listen, he listens to me do it. He's watching some YouTube videos. Next thing you know, shit, I have a picture of it. I had my 3 boys and my fiance's son. They're all sitting in the living room, all got a pot call in their hand, watching Cartel's YouTube
YouTube
channel,
channel.
and they're all banging on him. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
all right, I've done it, man. I've done it. Life's good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I can remember the first year I did that. I didn't get to youth hunt this year. It was my brother's bachelor parties. The first year I've missed youth season in, I think, like 10 or 15 years. And my buddy just started making them a couple years ago, but I can remember the year I bought them all for the kids. And I got a text message from every parent that told me they were going to kill me. Everyone. And that's the thing though. Like, and that I fall back on that. If you find it takes one thing to ignite the flame for this. I don't really like calling it a sport, but it is. To ignite the sport, or like that flame for this hunting, fishing, and like my son's addicted to fishing right now. You hit it that one time, and
Yep.
if it was giving a kid that turkey call, and next thing you know, he's the next fucking Bo Brooks because I gave him a turkey call at 12 years old. That's what I love about it.
Yeah,
And like you said, you gave them all a
you're a
call.
true yeah, you're a true outdoorsman, and it's our job as well. I'm 30, you're almost 30.
Yeah.
We're not getting any younger,
No, hell no,
and
dude.
it's our job. Like our fathers are, in their 50s, 60s. They're in that next generation where it's our time. Like we're the influencing generation for these kids that are like our kids' age, like high school kids just getting out of high school,
Oh,
maybe college
100%.
age. Like it's our job, it's our responsibility as outdoorsmen to keep passing this on, passing the torch, keeping the flame going.
100%.
But
No, no.
no, so
That is the key to it 100%. And I think mine was deer hunting. And then I ventured away from it a little bit when I got out of high school. I started into waterfowl, and turkeys, and like all the stuff that my father didn't do, I've taught myself. And I'm not knocking him on that at all. But I told myself as I got better at it and as I got good enough at it, I'm like, I will introduce whoever wants to do this to it. And I have held that from youth season turkey hunting, which is the veteran weekend as well, the youth veteran waterfowl season. I said, I don't plan, those are 2 weekends. I don't plan anything My brother was the exception for his bachelor party. Generally you only get one of those. So I said, listen, I said, I only had one kid this year. His brother ended up taking him, which I took all of them as brothers, through youth season. And, that was, how it wound up. That's like, I didn't have that person, but like you said, where you get to that age where you're just as happy to see someone else successful as you are as when you're successful yourself.
Exactly. I mean, because it was only a handful of years ago we were those ignorant, bullheaded kids that were tramping through the woods.
Oh,
You know,
exactly. And the biggest thing with me is like my father just handed me a gun, told me I was good to go, and pushed me out the door.
right,
And
right,
others, and a lot of kids don't get that. So I took it upon myself. I was like, the kids that aren't getting that, I was like, reach out to me. If you want to do this, let's go do it. And the turkey
fuck
one
yeah,
is the biggest one, mostly because the parents do deer hunt. So the youth, whatever the Columbus Day weekend youth deer season, usually 99% of the kids are able to go because of an uncle or their father or grandfather. Like they all deer hunt. But to be able to,
right, right,
you might, like I said, you never know. You give a turkey call, you might have the next Bo Brooks. You take a kid duck hunting, he gets a duck call for Christmas. He might be the next world champion duck caller. Like, all because you took him that one time on this little creek in New York and you shot one fucking wood duck. That ignited that
right.
fire and they took off and it just turned into a blaze and it turned into something unbelievable. And I think that's like the biggest thing on top of like, we'll just call it like explicit outdoors. I think if you look back at my turkey hunting videos specifically, I would bet to say about a quarter of them, 25% of them, 30% of them or better are youth hunts.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And like that's why like Fred, my oldest, he started out with a PSC micro Midas bow, and it was a cool little rig. It shot pretty well. Well, this year I'm like, hey brother, he's got a birthday in May. I'm like, what do you want for your birthday? I want a new bow. So okay, well we're gonna upgrade to something that you're gonna be stuck with for a handful of years. So we spent the money. I got him a Hoyt Cobalt.
Mm-hmm.
So he's shooting a Hoyt. He's shooting a single pin slider. He's shooting Victory VAP Junior arrows. So the kid's he's 8 years old and he's got quite the legit setup,
Oh,
shooting
hell yeah. I
micro
see your
diameter
videos on
arrows.
Facebook.
And he fucking loves it. And
I
then my
love it.
middle child, who's 5, I passed the PSE down to him and now he's into it. It's an obsession just getting the kids out there. And just when we were kids, we could go get on our bikes, four-wheelers, rowboats, do whatever the hell we wanted, and we were just idiot kids out in the woods, on the water. We're just idiot kids having an idiot of a time, right?
Oh,
Well,
100%.
get the kids out of the house, off the TVs. Go let kids be stupid again.
Oh, let them hurt themselves. That's my biggest thing. That's what I tell Kenzie all the
Lock
time.
them
It's like,
outside and let them do dumb shit again.
that's like the here beginning of the summer. My son finally, we got him last not this past, but last year Easter we got him his first four wheeler, and I took the limiter off it this year because I was right there. My father was putting a winch on his side by side, and I'm like, yo, what side? We went shed hunting over at my father's house, and we got back. And I was like, I threw him on my shoulder, sprinted through the woods. We were getting soaked. It started pouring. It was like 48 degrees. I'm like, fuck, my wife's going to kill me. I'm going to get him sicker than hell. And he had followed me over to my father's house, which all of our land connects or whatever. But my father was inside his garage working on his side by side, putting a winch on. I said, what size socket you got on your impact? And he's like, 10 millimeter. I'm like, give me a Phillips head screwdriver. So he got up, giving Phillips head a screwdriver. And I took his impact. I took the front piece off, pulled his limiter out, and off we went. Well, yeah, he's a smaller built kid height wise. I mean, he's still a little brute, but he followed me back. We were doing like 18 instead of 5 when we raced the rainstorm back, and he was getting pretty comfortable with it. And I said, "Listen, dude, you better be careful. The more comfortable you get, the more careless you get." And Kenzie's like, "Are we gonna go stop him?" I said, "No." I said, "I learned. I see him might break an
Yeah.
arm. I ain't gonna kill him. So the
Right.
next thing you know, one night he come flying in, screaming on him. He'd rolled it down back, trying to take too sharp of a turn too fast, and guess what? He slows down when he turns now.
Yeah.
No
My
shit.
stepson was on his he has a dirt bike here, and then at his dad's he has a little four-wheeler, and it's like, oh well, man, these kids are fearless.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
they don't understand like what death is. So of course he's going like a bat out of hell, goes over the handlebars, rolls it over, does whatever. And 2 days later, he's like laboring on his arm, and he comes home like, dude, what's going on? I look at it, and I go, of course, my fiance, he's a nurse, and
Oh yeah.
I've been a fireman for 14 years. I look, I go, dude, that's broke. That kid's got a broken arm. And sure enough, next day, bring him over to urgent care. Yeah, right there. Yeah, that fucking thing's broke. So I'm like, but fuck it, let him break bones. Let him be
Oh,
stupid. I love it.
absolutely. You pay for it when you get close to 30. Trust me, my right shoulder is beyond. I go to a chiropractor every 2 months for my shoulder, which I didn't go for the longest time. That was just on me being stupid, but it makes a difference now. Oh yeah, dude. If I didn't have, I mean, you learn those lessons growing up. That's what you got to learn, and you do, and you learn them the hard way is the best way to learn sometimes.
Yep.
And that's the best part about it. That's awesome to hear. I'm terrified to get my son a dirt bike because, like you said, they don't know what death is.
No, they're hellions. They're little hellions.
And that's the thing. You rolled it over. Don't ask me how fast he was going or what he was doing. Somehow bent the front tie rod on it. I had to order that. It was $65 from Watertown Power Sports. It was the last one in one of their warehouses, and got it there, put it on or whatever. I said, dude, how did you do this? I straightened it out in our vise at work in case he ever did it again. But I got the part 3 or 4 days later, and he was running at 100 miles per hour again. But let me tell you, he was slowing down when he was taking turns.
Yeah, sometimes they're slow learners.
Yeah, I hear you. I might have been a little slow growing up on some of the lessons I was teaching myself. But yeah, I'm hoping this one worked pretty good over the phone. I know the little bit I did with my brother when he banged out on me. I got to get the actual, there's like a Bluetooth plug-in thing for this where my phone's plugged into now. It plays it on the same audio as the mic that I'm talking through, but it
Gotcha.
works. It just doesn't give me the separate audio file to edit anything. But so far, I have not had to edit anything separately from what I've done, which is a blessing. I'm sure they'll come.
It's all sounded good.
Yeah.
At least it sounds good on the truck radio. So,
And that's what Alex said. I was like, how does it sound? And he's like, it sounds like you're talking through a fancy mic. What are you doing? I said, well, I'm doing a podcast. And he's like, oh shit, I don't have time for a podcast. I was like, dude, you told me yesterday you would bullshit on
I
here.
saw that one. I saw that.
And he was like, oh yeah, no, he's a little late for that now because he was not a big hunter growing up. He killed a bear before me, which absolutely sent me over the edge. But I tried for like 2 years hunting where people were telling me to hunt. Oh, you'll see a bear. He shoots one like the second weekend of deer season. But he's never been a huge hunter, let alone a fisherman, which we used to fish growing up or whatever. But then out of the fucking blue, he's like, you know what you should do? I was like, what should I do? He's like,
Yep,
you should fly fish. And I was like, that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to fly fish, but if you're going to get into fly fishing, guess what?
Yeah,
I will do whatever you want to do to spend more time with you. So I got a fly rod now. And I catch a lot of bluegill on it, but I've yet to catch a trout on it. But all right, buddy. Probably call this one good.
Oh, there you are. I think I lost you for a second.
Oh, maybe. My signal out here in the first shit isn't great either. I'm glad it worked. Oh, I might have lost Connor. Are you back? You there? Hello?
Yep, there you are. I lost
There
you
it
for a
is.
second.
Yep, no, you're good.
Oh, you're good.
Just
good. Yeah.
was just gonna cap this one out here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think next episode, I think we should we'll go into kind of where we are with the hunting season, where our plots are and stuff like that. I know I got some good plots coming up, and yeah, we'll keep rolling with this. This is fun.
Yeah, definitely, dude. No, I had a good time on this one. It's nice to actually start getting into that back and forth with somebody and being able to bullshit and everything on top of that. Is like the last few by myself. I mean, it's like anything. No one wants to listen to a 15-minute podcast of just Bailey Clark talking about what's going on in his life. It's nice to get somebody else on and bullshit and talk. And um, I don't know what that means. I just got a text from my buddy who has the sister to my beagle that I run snowshoes with, and he just told me he's training her for bobcats. That's
Oh
concerning.
Jesus Christ!
But
Here we go.
throw her out there one more time. Hit us with the socials and throw out the dates and stuff for that next event.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Connor Rowell on Facebook, for my verified account, and then I have a pretty decent following on TikTok, which is Rowell Outdoors. That'll keep you pretty entertained. And then
Oh yeah,
for
well,
the archery shoot, it's the Mad River World Classic. Just follow that, and you'll see in our top post we have all the information on that team shoot Sunday, August 16th, and yeah, I mean, grab your partners and get out there. We're gonna have a blast. But no, thanks for having me on. I'm already looking forward to the next one, man.
yeah, definitely, dude. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody out there, remember to stay explicit.
Stay
So,
explicit.
all right, brother, I'll talk to you.
Take her easy, boss.
Yep,
Bye
bye.
bye. Well, there you have it, folks. Connor Rowell Outdoors. I will link both of the Mad River Classic, which is gone by, but they're going to be doing it. You know, he did it last year, did it this year. Well, you just have to follow the page, and it's the same page for the team shoot and everything on top of that as well. So check those out. Follow the link, and like Connor said, you get them on Facebook, shoot a message to the page, and you can talk about anything. You know, if you have any questions or anything you want to go over. He's a great dude. One of my good friends, and yeah, don't be nervous. Don't be afraid to reach out and learn. So, thanks for listening, everybody. I know the video cut out about 3/4 of the way through, but when you do a 2-hour podcast, the cameras overheat and things happen, and I'm not a professional with this shit. So, appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to subscribe. Reach out if you want to hop on. You got some shit you want to bullshit about, even if it's not anything to do with hunting, fishing, trapping. Maybe it's you got, I don't know anything about hiking around here, and I know there's trails and peaks and all that and the whole 9 yards. I'm in the Adirondacks. I'm in central New York. Like, I go all over the place. I want to hear your stories and anything you've got to talk about. So stay tuned for more podcasts, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Be explicit.